Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakodash, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and salutations to the elect. We're the brothers of Great Millstone, Miami. I'm the brother Loya, and with me,
The brother of war.
and in this lesson, the topic that we're going to go over is how he that scattered Israel shall gather him. Okay. Hey, as a people, we've been scattered abroad, as a nation, via captivity as a punishment for our sins. Okay, you Israelites, which you Israelites are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but you also have other scattered Israelites throughout the globe. Okay, those of you that whose lineage goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and who resonate with this word, this message also applies to you. Okay, no matter what you may look like, etc. Okay, but the brother and I were talking earlier. I wouldn't even say earlier today, maybe about 10, 30 minutes ago.
Right.
About how even though the Lord scattered Israel and we've been dispersed across the four nations, over the ages. All right, the promise of the Lord is that He's going to gather us again.
That's right.
Okay, all right, and bring us back to our homeland, and we're going to be one unified people again. Okay, all right, so we'll just hop right into it. You got Deuteronomy 28:64.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, for from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods which thou hast slackened, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's one of the curses. One of the curses is that the Lord would scatter us,
Yep.
okay, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth, man. Okay, that we would be a scattered and dispersed people. So we were going to be plucked out of our land, okay,
Yep.
all right, which was our inheritance, the land of Israel, and then be pushed throughout the globe, okay, via captivity, via running away from our enemies,
Yep.
okay. The scriptures talk about how we would go against them one way and flee seven ways. Okay. All right. So again, that's part of the curses, and also part of that being scattered and being in these different captivities goes into also worshiping these different idols, which our people all over the globe. Okay, whether it be over here in the West, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, you know, okay, or our people scattered across the globe in Europe and Africa and Asia, in what's so-called Middle East, in the Pacific Islands. As a result of us being dispersed amongst the nations, we and assimilating into their customs and things like that, we have worshipped their gods.
Yep.
Okay, we've taken on their customs and their gods unto ourselves. All right, and so through this word, through the gospel of Yahweh Shem Shai, the Lord has it to where through the preaching of the word, our people are being gathered. Okay, mainly via the internet. Okay, all right, and it's gonna fully culminate when Yahweh Shai comes back in the chariots to deliver us as a people, the elect, um, in totality, and bring us to the land of Israel, okay, where we truly belong. Which I wanted to get a Baruch chapter 2 and verse 30. It says, "For I knew that they would not hear me." Who's the they? Okay, the they are the Israelites. Okay, the Lord knew that we were. Well, matter of fact, I'll start at verse 28. It says, "As thou spakest by thy servant Moses in the day when thou didst command him to write thy law before the children of Israel, saying, If ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them." Okay, all right. So the Lord already prophesied that we would be dispersed.
Right.
Okay, amongst the nations. All right, scattered amongst the nations as a result of our disobedience. "For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves." And that's the great awakening happened over here in Babylon the Great. Okay, all right, where we have suffered many forms of captivity. Okay, all right, and through the great awakening, the Lord raising up the tents of Judah first. Okay, and the word being preached out to the other 12 tribes. Okay, and even to the Israelites that are scattered abroad, what we call the speckled bird Israelites, who may be amongst these other nations and look somewhat like these other nations, but they truly are Israelites. Okay, All right, through that process, our people are waking up and returning unto the Most High. Okay, it says, and shall know that I am the Lord their God, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. All right, which the name of the Lord is Yahweh. Okay, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. In the land of our captivity, we have returned unto the Lord and began to praise his name, call upon his name. Okay, all right, which means that no more calling on Jesus Christ and Jehovah, okay, and Mary and all these other false deities that our people believe in. Okay, the name of the Lord we believe through faith is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. Okay, all right, it says, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord. Okay, which we're coming back to who we are. Okay, all right, you got even Jake's in Australia, okay, in Japan and the Philippines and the interiors of Africa, okay, Hawaii, Europe, okay, who are coming back to the acknowledgement that they are Israelites. Okay, you got Jake that look like Edomites, look like so-called white men. You know, that look like so-called Chinese, that look like so-called Japanese, that look like so-called Africans coming back to the Lord. Okay, all right, that's all through the Spirit. Okay, all right, because as many as are of the faith, the same are the children of Abraham. So if you can believe in the gospel of Yahweh Shai, that proves that you are an Israelite.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right.
All right, because only the seed of Israel can believe in the promises that were made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why the God of the Bible is called the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Okay,
yeah.
All right. It says, for they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord, and I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yep.
Okay, and they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their God, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land which I have given them. That I have given them. So there you go. All right, the Lord is going to gather us as a people, man. Okay, after we return unto him and seek his face and repent, which is a process. Okay, all right, once the elect are perfected in the eyes of the Lord, and of course destruction is going to come, Jacob's trouble and all of that. Okay, the MOTB, World War III. In the midst of all of that, the Lord's going to come and deliver us and take us back to the land which he promised unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, all right, giving it back unto his people. All right, so I know you wanted to bring out James.
If I may say to back you up, all right, when you read the book of Baruch 4, it tells you about how Jerusalem was mourning. Her sons and daughters, they were taken away from her. But also, guess what? She's going to take, the sackcloth off of her, and she's going to rejoice because the everlasting is going to bring her children back onto her, man. Okay?
Yep.
That's what, the scripture said, Baruch 4, the same everlasting that brought these plagues upon you will give you everlasting joy with your salvation.
That's
man.
Right. That's right.
Okay? So salvation is coming, and we will be brought back into our land. Okay? Hey, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is James 1:1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting.
That's right. Okay. All right. So there you go. The book of James is written to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, and James himself was one of the pillars of the early church.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So he wrote unto the 12 tribes scattered abroad, and that's who all the epistles of Paul and Peter and James and John and the four gospels, etc., are written to. They're written to Israelites.
That's right.
Okay, who had been scattered amongst the nations at that time. The main diaspora, which the word diaspora means to scattered or to disperse, dispersion, and it goes back to the Greek. The main diaspora at the time was a result of the Greek Empire rising up and Hellenizing the world and taking many Israelites from the land of Israel and dispersing them throughout the Greek colonies at the time. All right, and of course the territories that were once ruled by ancient Greece, Alexander the Great, and his four generals who divided up the land, eventually those territories were absorbed into the Roman Empire. Okay, so you had a lot of Israelites at the time that were speaking Greek and Latin. Okay, all right, in various different languages, of course, from previous captivities to Medo-Persia, okay, and Babylon and etc. So you know that's what the narrative of the scriptures is. The Israelites were scattered as a result of their sins, you know, and in the last days the Lord would gather them back together.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 10. It says, "Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off." Okay. So the Lord is saying that, hey, listen up. Okay. And say, okay, he that scattered Israel, this is hear the word of the Lord. Okay, so he that scattered Israel, which was Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, will gather him and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. For the Lord hath redeemed Jacob and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. Okay, so there you go. The Lord is going to gather his people and redeem his people and ransom his people. Okay, who are scattered afar off. Okay, which it would include Babylon, which would include North America, South America.
Right.
Okay, the Caribbean islands. Okay, you know, which includes really the whole world.
Yeah.
Okay, because we've been scattered into the four corners, man. Okay, but it's, you know, it's very a special thing that the Lord has us over here in America, dwelling here in the West, you know, mainly here in North America, you know, is where a lot of the camps, you know, have popped up. Okay, that's spiritual. That right there proves in itself that we're the Israelites, man, because we're declaring what the Lord said about His people.
Yeah.
Okay, why are not the you wish people? Okay, you make a wish people.
Right.
All right, on the star of Molech people.
Good.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Why aren't they talking about this?
Right.
Why are they not seeking the Lord to gather them? Why are they not preaching this? Because it doesn't apply to them.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. All right. They seeking America funding and stuff to help them
to continue in wickedness.
Right. Okay, this is First Peter chapter 1 verse 1. Okay, it says, Peter, an apostle of Yahushua Hamashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Okay, now when you go to the NLT, I believe that is, which the NLT used to be right there.
Could we get the word stranger after too?
Yes, absolutely. So it says, this letter is from Peter, an apostle of Yahushua Hamashiach. I am writing to God's chosen people who are living as foreigners in the provinces of Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Okay, who are God's chosen people? The Israelites, man. Okay, hath God cast away His people which He foreknew? God forbid. I'm also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. God's people, His chosen people, are the Israelites, man.
The scriptures say in Isaiah, like he engraved
them upon the palm of His hands.
So Lord never gonna forget about Israel.
Nah, not at all. Never. Okay. Okay. Matter of fact, the scriptures say in Isaiah, I want to say the 41st chapter, it tells you that Israel is mine elect.
Right.
My chosen. It's always repeated throughout the scriptures that the Israelites are His chosen people, man.
That's right.
Okay. And they have been scattered, living as foreigners in these different places of the earth.
That's right.
At the time, Peter is addressing those that live in Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, but it applies to all the Israelites who had been scattered abroad.
That's right.
Okay, which that goes to show. This goes to show you that the book of the Galatians, the epistle to the Galatians, which Paul wrote, you know, which Christians would like to refer to that book to try to, justify the idea that heathens, actual natural born heathens, can be saved. Okay. All right. Well, according to this verse, it tells you that those individuals are Israelites. Okay. So the church of Galatia, they were composed of Israelites.
That's right.
Okay. All those churches that Paul and the apostles established in Asia Minor, those are Israelites, man.
That's right.
Okay. Now you said you wanted that word stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's get that word stranger. Okay, the word stranger there is Strong's G3927. It says parapidemos. And it says one who comes from a foreign country
Mm-hmm.
into a city or land to reside there by the side of the natives.
Mm.
Oh, so you from somewhere else? You're not.
Right.
You're not from over there.
Right.
You came over there and now you're residing there beside the natives, but you're not a native.
Right.
A stranger, a sojourning in a strange place, a foreigner. Okay.
If you're sojourning somewhere, that means you're not going to be there permanently.
Right.
You're just there for a moment.
A moment, which means that you're not from there.
Right. You're not from there.
Right.
You're passing through.
Right. Exactly.
You know.
Right. Absolutely. Now, the word scattered is diaspora,
Mm-hmm.
which means a scattering, a dispersion of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations.
Mm.
Okay?
Right.
All right. It says, of the Christians scattered abroad among the Gentiles, which the Christians are Israelites who believe in Hamashiach Yahushua.
That's right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Those are the Christians.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They're Israelites who believe in Yahushua, man.
That's right.
Who is the anointed one. Okay, that's why the apostles were first called Christians at Antioch. Okay, all right. That's why when the Christians first came on the scene. Okay, which they were called Christians by, of course, Greek-speaking individuals. All right, who called them that. All right, there was always something that was associated with the Israelites. That's why Paul said, "I suffer for the religion and the traditions of my fathers, believing all things that were written in the law of Moses." And the Psalms and and the prophets. Okay. All right. Now, wanted to go to Jeremiah, chapter 16. Did you want to bring that out?
Yeah, I'll bring it out.
Go ahead, bro.
This is Jeremiah 16 and 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he hath driven them, and I will bring them again unto their land that I gave unto their fathers.
That's right. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the Lord, the same way he delivered Israel from Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the same way he gonna deliver Israel from the land of the north, which that's North America.
Right.
Okay, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. All right, so all the places around the globe that the Israelites are scattered, wherever they may be, they're going to be saved.
That's right.
Okay, if they're part of the elect, they're part of the remnant of Israel, they're going to be delivered.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, and they're going to be brought back into the land which the Lord promised unto their fathers. Okay, now this Isaiah 11 and 10, it says, and in that day shall there be a root out of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people, of the people.
Right.
Okay.
Certain people.
A certain people.
Not everybody.
To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day.
Future prophecy.
That the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, the people, which shall be left, a remnant of them. So not all Israelites are going to be saved on the first go around. It's going to be a remnant of them that return to the Lord.
That's right.
Okay? Because they sought the Lord.
That's right.
Okay? Right?
Yeah.
Which shall be left from Assyria. Okay, that's over there in Iran.
Huh.
Okay, Iraq area. Salaki, Iraq, to be exact. Okay, that the land of Assyria, Mesopotamia, ancient Babylon, that's the region of Iraq. And from Egypt. Okay, and from Pathros, so we're dealing with North Africa, and from Cush, Ethiopia, Sudan, Elam, and from Elam, Persia, East India, Pakistan.
Right.
Okay, and from Shinar, that's also another term for Mesopotamia, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. That's what's letting you know that those Gentiles are Israelites who had been outcasts.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
And gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. So it's giving you even a greater expounding. People will be like, oh, well, it says Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush, Elam, Shinar, and Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. Well, I don't say nothing about America and Cuba and Brazil. Right. What are you talking about? That's not mentioned. Well, it says right here, he shall assemble the outcast of Israel and gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
These are the Gentiles that have sought the Lord, who are going to be saved, the remnant of Israel.
Right.
Because they were amongst these other nations, worshiping their gods, assimilating into those customs, assimilating amongst those nations, okay, and becoming as the heathen, like it tells you in Ezekiel the 20th chapter.
That's right.
But the Lord said, nah, I'm going to gather them from amongst them. They're going to be my people.
That's right. And I will be their God.
I will be their God. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. All right. Did you want to bring out this as well, Colin?
Matthew 24:30. Yeah, I'll start at 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great shout of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
That's right. Okay. So as we see, a tribulation is upon the earth.
Right.
Okay. All right. But it's going to come to a height. It's going to come to a climax. Okay. All right. When World War III pops off between these different nations. All right. Babylon versus really the rest of the world. Okay. There's going to be fighting and war. And in the midst of that, Yahushua is going to come. It's going to be a dark and gloomy day. Okay, the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. The sun shall withdraw her shine, and the moon shall not give her light. The stars, shall fall from heaven, which is representative of the nuclear missiles.
That's right.
Okay, all right. We go to Revelation the 6th chapter to bring that out. And the powers of heaven shall be shaken. What are the powers of heaven? It's talking about the powers that be. Okay, the establishments and institutions of this world. Okay, the superpowers of this current age, who are in their proverbial heaven. They shall be shaken up when he comes back. That's why scriptures tell you in Revelation, the 1st chapter, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so amen.
That's right.
Right? And it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. What's the sign of the Son of Man? It's talking about the chariots, the fathership, what they call UFOs, okay? So-called flying saucers. No, those are the vehicles of God. Okay, as described in Ezekiel the 1st chapter, where it says they shall be as a wheel within a wheel. Okay, they had living creatures in them. They moved forth as lightning. Okay, they were as a fire enfolding itself. They had a brightness about them. Okay, those are the vehicles of God, the chariots of God and his angels. Okay, all right. It says, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. Right? It says, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Okay? Because he's going to come with the angels. He's going to come with all his full force of the chariots, so-called UFOs, with the angels to bring judgment. Okay? To wage war with the inhabitants of the earth. That's what the Lord is coming back to do. He's going to come back with power.
Yes.
The earth is going to shake at his presence. It's written in the scriptures in Isaiah. Okay? All right, it says, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. So it's going to be very noisy. He's going to make a statement. All right, and they shall gather together his elect, which the elect are the Israelites, the chosen ones of God. Okay, specifically the remnant of Israel, from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Yeah. All over the globe.
Right.
Okay, Canada, Alaska, the United States, Mexico. Okay. All right, Central America, the Caribbean, South America,
Antarctica,
and if anybody's there,
right?
It's for the most part uninhabited. Okay, Greenland,
right?
You know what I'm saying? England, all right, Italy, all over the world, Russia, okay, Saudi Arabia, Iran, all right, Syria, all right, India, Japan, China, Africa, Australia, all these different places, the Pacific Islands, Indonesia, all right, all these places, the Lord's going to deliver his people, okay, and call them up into the chariots, and after the smoke clears, all right, he going to take us back to our land,
That's right.
Okay, all right, this is Jeremiah chapter 30, and verse 7, it says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Okay? All right, so the time that's coming that we're coming into with the economy all over the place, you're gonna have different wars between different nations, famines, pestilences, violence, sedition, uproars, etc. Okay, it's gonna be the time of Jacob's trouble. It's gonna be a tumultuous and evil time, unlike any other time in history. Okay, all right, but the Lord's gonna deliver His people out of it, the remnant of them.
Sure.
For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck and burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
Mm.
Okay, so the Lord's going to free us from being exiled and captives.
That's right.
But they shall serve the Lord their God and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, which lo means to look.
Right.
I will save thee. The Lord's talking about saving his people, redeeming his people. That's what the prophets say.
Yes.
Okay? From afar. And thy seed. All right, so it's a seed line. It's a bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's a pedigree. A family tree.
Sure.
Okay? And thy seed from the land of their captivity.
Mm.
Okay? So even from the furthest that we've been scattered, which is here in America, that's why it says, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid.
Ooh.
For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations whither I have scattered thee.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord says, so where's the salvation for the other nations?
Right.
Yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
He's just talking about his people.
He's just talking about his people. That's what it is.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. All right, go ahead, bro.
This is Ezekiel 20 and 33. As I live, saith the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you.
Mm-hmm.
And I will bring you out from the people and gather you out of the countries
And
where
gather you.
Yes. It's personal.
Personally talking about the Israelites.
Right.
That's why the Israelites are called a holy people.
Right.
Because He's going to gather us from among them.
Yep.
So He also talk about separating His people.
Right.
Be separate.
Right.
That's why the Lord delivered us from Egypt. That's why the Lord had Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. He said, don't be taking wives of the heathen.
Right.
Don't be doing that while you sojourn amongst them. No. Abraham, you're going to marry Sarah of your bloodline. Mm-hmm. Isaac, you're going to marry of your father, your mother's bloodline. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Jacob. Okay?
That's right.
All right? Why? Because He wanted us to be separate as possible. Because the Israelites had been, and their forefathers had been sojourning amongst the other nations for so long.
That's right.
Abraham sojourning in Ur of the Chaldees and in Mesopotamia, Isaac, Jacob in the Canaanites and Egypt, So the Lord didn't want us mingled amongst them. That's why we had to leave Egypt, and He made a covenant with us and gave us laws, statutes, and commandments and customs to distinguish us from the other nations.
That's right.
That's why that happened. That's why the Lord punished Israel when they started acting like the other nations, when they started mingling amongst the other nations. The Lord punished them back to back. That's why, because the Lord wanted us to be separate.
That's right. even with the garments, you had individuals wearing garments back then, but what separated us from everybody else? The border of the blue.
The border of blue, yeah.
The Lord wanted us to be separate from everybody.
Right. Yes.
Yes. Hey, that's it. Okay. Verse 34 again, and I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. So hey, the Lord is going to deliver those that are scattered, man.
Khan, that's right. Okay. And what's the mighty hand and the stretched out arm of the Lord? Yahushua.
That's right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, so when the Lord comes back and delivers Israel from amongst the heathen, He going to be executing judgment.
Yeah.
Okay, because it was when the Lord said He was going to stretch out a mighty hand and a stretched out arm against Egypt, He was executing judgment upon the Egyptians and different plagues as we were being delivered. So it's going to be the same thing.
That's right.
Okay. Yep. All right, so you had anything else? Khan. So with that, hey, Lord willing, this video is edifying. We want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Hakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and citations to the elect, Kwame Asharala, and above all. Shalom.